Greetings, people of Earth. Today's video is going to be about getting your ideal partner or finding your ideal partner. And I've been working through this process a lot in my own life right now, so I thought I would just share some things that I found have been working for me through this process. So first, the most important thing I would say is to get clear on what you want from a partner. What type of personality do you want to attract into your life? What type of schedule would you like your ideal partner to have? How frequently would you like them to be able to spend time with you? What type of relationship are you hoping to get in? Are you looking for something more casual? Are you looking for something deeply committed? Are you looking for something that's kind of in the middle where it's like committed, but also there's a lot of freedom and flexibility for you both to be very much independent? Get clear on where you want your partner to be in their life. Do you want a partner that's very established in themselves and where they're going? Or are you more open to someone who's still kind of figuring it out and wanting to figure that out possibly with you as their partner? And get really clear on the type of communication you want to have from your partner. Do you want somebody who is super direct and honest with you? Or do you want somebody who is going to be more fluid and more like kind and like gentle with their communication? These are all really important things. The next thing for finding your ideal partner is to communicate your expectations up front. So whether you're doing like online dating or in-person dating, when you meet somebody, talk about the type of relationship that you want to have very specifically. Talk about the type of person you are and the type of communication and personality types that you do well with. Talk about your goals for your relationship. Do you want something that's going to be very long-term and very, very deeply invested, or do you want something that's going to more maybe start as a friendship and kind of be more free and playful? Communicate that clearly, because the other person isn't going to know what you want unless you say it, and you're also more likely to end up in a negative relationship if you aren't communicating those expectations up front. And the great thing about communicating those expectations is if the person is ready to meet them, then great. But if they're not, it's kind of like a win anyway, because that takes you away from somebody that might not be right for you and gets you a step closer to somebody that would be right for you. Another key thing in finding your ideal relationship is to be open and expressive with your emotions and with your thoughts. Choose deliberately to be vulnerable about who you are, because if you're not vulnerable about who you are, then the other person doesn't really know exactly what they're signing up for, and it's more likely that you'll get in one of those relationships where I'm sure you all have seen it, where things go well in the beginning, and then as the relationship gets more serious, kind of like the meat of who you and the other person are come out, and it can create a lot of clashing. So I think it's better to just be deliberately vulnerable, even if it's a little bit uncomfortable and it's still like the beginning phases and you're like, oh, maybe I shouldn't share this yet, or maybe I should, be more this way or that way in the beginning to kind of get the partner more interested in me. Fundamentally, that's manipulative, because you're selling to that other person an inauthentic version of you, and also it will encourage the other person to do the same. When you're like deliberately vulnerable about like, this is who I am, this is what I struggle with, this is what I'm great at, these are the types of emotions that I've been feeling lately, it's going to inspire that in the other person. And it's also a great way to kind of weed out people who are maybe emotionally unavailable or who are probably going to end up being more distant partners. Because if you're sharing very upfront, like, hey, like, this is who I am, this is, I struggle with, feeling anxious a lot, or, I struggle with needing a lot of space in relationships. I get suffocated really easily when my partner is like always texting or calling me. If like the other person is like, oh, thanks, for letting me know, but like doesn't share anything about them, for one, you probably know they aren't super invested in you, and for two, you kind of get more of a gauge of their emotional landscape. I think another thing that's really important with creating an ideal relationship is understanding when you're projecting a fantasy onto the other person that you're seeing. Be very I guess, data minded when you're with the person. Notice like specifically the things that they're saying and doing, less of your interpretation of those things, but like specifically, this is what I'm seeing with this person. And that'll help you to get kind of a more clear picture on who you're seeing and if they are right for you. It's really easy, I think, to get like stuck in your own head and think like, oh, like, maybe they're like this or maybe like they're like that. It's better to just look at the cold hard facts. Also, in addition to that, it is important to honor your intuition, but there's a big difference between your intuition and like a mental projected fantasy of another person. An intuition will be more of like a gut feeling that you have about someone, and it won't necessarily translate into like a specific image or projection of like, this is what this means. It'll more so be a gut feeling. When you're with a partner or meeting a new person who really feels right for you, I found that it feels really expansive and really light in my chest and gut area. But when I'm with somebody who kind of rubs me the wrong way, I notice myself kind of like reclusing. So pay attention to your own body language and the way that your like heart and your chest are communicating. Even like after a date, like maybe go home and meditate with yourself and be like, how do I feel in my body right now? What kind of emotions did hanging out with this person bring up for me? And are these the types of feelings that I would want to feel ongoing in a connection, or would I prefer to feel a different way after hanging out with someone or while hanging out with someone? So that's all I got. Please comment below some red flags that you've experienced when dating someone and how you knew that they weren't right for you, because maybe this could help the wider community to see certain similarities with their experience and things like that. And thank you to everybody who liked and subscribed on this video. I'm really trying to grow my channel and turn this into kind of like a career, because I really feel like this is my purpose, to speak on these things. So to anybody who liked, subscribed, or even just watched the video, thank you so much. Super grateful for that. And yeah, have a lovely week, lovely March, and that is all.